Hi guys, it's Stephanie. So today's YouTube video is going to be about diabetes. I'm juvenile diabetic. I have been since I was 5. I was 5. I was diagnosed in November of 2003. So I have some questions and I'm going to start with those because I don't want to forget them. They're fresh in my head. So the first question was, how do people make fun of you? And if so, how do I deal with it? And in elementary school, they did make fun of me for it. And back then, I didn't really know how to deal with it. So pretty much, I didn't. I just ignored everything. Like, I broke down a lot and I cried a lot back then. It wasn't until I came out as transgender that they quit focusing on my diabetes. Somebody else asked, how does it change the way you live compared to somebody who's not diabetic? The only real difference between somebody who is and who isn't is I'm always going to have a thing called an insulin pump, which is right here, my insulin pump. It's a Medtronic insulin pump, and I highly recommend Medtronic. I love them. They take good care of me. They've always kept me with a newer pump. So Medtronic is the one for me, or I'm going to have to take insulin shots. And so my pump pumps in this insulin called Novolog or Humalog. And when you're on shots, you take 2 different types of insulin. You take Lantus, which burns really bad, and then you take Novolog or Humalog, which is the same difference. They're just different names. And so that's pretty much the questions. And so now I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys my story about how I got diagnosed. So I was about 4 years old, I was 5 years old, and it was right after Halloween, and I didn't want to walk around during Halloween. And here in my town, Fresno, we have a thing called the Fresno Fair, which is a load of crap. But anyway, so I didn't want to walk around during the Fresno Fair either. I didn't want to go on any of the rides. I was really thirsty. All I wanted was water. I was losing a lot of weight, and I was peeing a lot. I was urinating a lot. And so my aunts and my aunts all had diabetes. And so I went to my aunt's house and they tested my blood sugar, and I think it was in the 200s, maybe the 400s. And so I went to the Valley Children's Hospital, and they diagnosed me as diabetic and gave me prescriptions and sent me away. I was never hospitalized then, and I was never hospitalized after that in my life for diabetes. When I was in kindergarten, because that's when I was diagnosed, I was in kindergarten. And so when I was in kindergarten, I think maybe first grade, when my fingers started to get tired of being poked all the time, because you have to check your sugar almost, I think 4 or 5 times a day. So when my fingers started getting tired of being poked, I used to have to poke and squeeze a lot to get the blood out. And so I remember when I was in kindergarten, like, I would squeeze and it would go all over my face and it would squirt like a scary movie. Some of my other memories of early stages of diabetes is, I think I was 7 and I was at my uncle's house and I was feeling low, because I've always been able to feel my blood sugars, which a lot of diabetics aren't able to. However, I have been able to since I was 4 or 5. I'm sorry, pretty much around the same time. So I remember I told them I'm low, I need to eat. And they were cooking dinner, so they thought I was just hungry. They didn't believe me. And so they told me, well, wait till dinner's done. And I pretty much fell. I didn't pass out, but I fell down on the floor, and then they fed me. And then I was good after that. And then I remember when I was in elementary school, I had this school nurse, and she was really crappy. And she didn't tell the teachers that I had to have somebody walk with me when I feel low or high to the nurse's office. And so she sent me walking to the nurse's office all by myself. Her and this teacher that I used to have that was also not the greatest. Well, it wasn't that she wasn't the greatest. She just didn't know a lot about diabetes, so she didn't understand. And so she had made me wait 15 minutes, which is enough to pass out anyway. So she'd made me wait 15 minutes in her classroom for her to be done teaching. And after she was done teaching, when she released me, I fell walking to the nurse's office. And I just fell there, and I was completely like little, so I couldn't get up really, like it was like 3rd grade. And so I remember I got up and I walked all the way to the nurse's office, which was far, and I was falling all over the place. And when I got in there, I said, I need food now. And they didn't even check my sugar. They just put sugar into my blood and called my mom. And I remember when I was diagnosed, my father had said some really rude shit because he didn't think there was anything wrong with me. And he goes, these are quotes. He goes, there really better be something wrong with her. And so he pretty much regretted that he'll regret that for the rest of his life, because there really was something wrong with me. And diabetes isn't curable. You can't cure it. No matter what anybody tells you, it is an uncurable disease at the moment. They're working on it, but at the moment it is uncurable. So I will most likely never be cured of my diabetes. So when he said that, it was kind of like, really? You know? And like, I have a lot of issues with my father. I'll share all that with you guys. I don't mind sharing. Just ask what you guys want in my next video. I will definitely do it. But pretty much my father was a complete asshole about it. And then I got diagnosed with diabetes, and now he's out of the picture completely. I don't talk to him whatsoever. And I'm sorry about the weird angle, guys. I'm doing this on my iPhone, and the way that this camera on this thing is set up, it wants you to be tilted like portrait, and I'd rather be, you know, the other way. So like, yeah, it tells me to flip my camera when I even move it a certain way. So I should be doing it like this, but I want to get more of the background because I think it's pretty. It's probably where I'll do most of my YouTube videos. It's just pretty out here. And so that was pretty much it for me, really. I used to go to Valley Children's Hospital in Fresno, California, and they are not good at dealing with diabetes, especially in teenagers. I disagree with them completely. I don't like them. I don't suggest them. However, my cousin is having a really good experience there, so it was about 2-3 years ago that I was there. Well, now I'm at this place, and my diabetic doctor is her name's Dr. Mary Simon. And she is the best diabetic doctor you will ever find in the Central Valley. I love her to death. She's not only my doctor, but she's like a friend. I can tell her anything. She knows about my gender identity. She just knows. She's like amazing. She helps me with so much. She was one of the first doctors to help me get into a place where they were going to start to put me on hormones. I'm not on hormones at the moment because of I want to have children, so I want to really be sure that I can still have children after I start hormones before I start them. And so these aren't, yeah, this is just padded bra. This isn't real boobs, sadly, but they still look good, don't they? Except for my insulin pump. That's another thing. You always have a cord with the insulin pump unless you do the Omnipod. And me, myself, I don't like the Omnipod. I don't suggest it, so... But every diabetic has their own preference, and everybody's diabetes is different. So you always have to remember that. When you hear somebody that's blood sugars are always high and they've been in the hospital a few times, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad diabetic. They could just have everybody's diabetes is different. Maybe they're just on the high side normally, and maybe, like, I really feel like the only way I feel like you can judge about diabetes is if you have diabetes. My doctor has diabetes, so I don't get a lot of crap from her. Like, to me, she's just a great person. She's helped me with a lot. And my last A1C, which was today, it was 9.3, which is really good for me. It's down from 10.5, and it's supposed to be at 7.5. So I'm on the way down to a normal area. I haven't been there since I think I was 4 or 5. I was little. It's been a long time since I've been good. So I'm doing good now. I'm getting my stuff together. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Hope you guys liked the video. Like and subscribe. Comment what you guys want my next video to be. And yeah, love you babies. Special shout out to my best friend, Garamel. who just came out as bisexual. I'm so proud of him. He's like one of my best friends, and I love him to death, and I'll always be there for him. Bye, guys. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you.